Starting October 1, 2024, Ontario's general minimum wage will increase to $17.20 per hour, up from the current $16.55. This 3.9% rise is part of the province's annual adjustment based on the Ontario Consumer Price Index, CPI, and is aimed at helping workers cope with the rising cost of living. Ontario's minimum wage is reviewed and adjusted each year to reflect inflation, ensuring that wage growth aligns with economic trends. In addition to the general minimum wage, special categories of workers will also see wage increases. Students under 18 who work part-time during the school year or full-time during breaks will earn $16.20 per hour, up from $15.60. Homeworkers, individuals who perform paid work from home, will see their hourly wage rise from $18.20 to $18.90. Hunting, fishing, and wilderness guides will have their rates increased to $86 per day, for work less than 5 hours, and $172.05 per day, for work of 5 or more hours. These wage adjustments reflect Ontario's evolving labour market and the government's recognition of different employment categories, particularly for students and homeworkers, the latter of which has grown due to the rise in remote work post-pandemic. #Ontario minimum wage, a historical context. The minimum wage in Ontario has been gradually increasing over the past few years. In 2023, it was set at $16.55, up from $15.50 in 2022 and $15 at the start of 2022. This consistent pattern of wage hikes, driven by inflation adjustments, demonstrates Ontario's attempt to support low-income workers in an environment where the cost of essentials, housing, and services continues to climb. #Living wage versus minimum wage. While the minimum wage will reach $17.20 per hour in 2024, it still falls significantly short of the living wage in many parts of the province. A living wage is defined as the hourly rate required to meet basic living expenses, such as housing, food, transportation, and childcare, without financial stress. According to the Ontario Living Wage Network, the living wage varies widely across regions. Greater Toronto Area, GTA, $25.05 per hour. Grey Bruce, Perth Huron Simcoe, $22.75 per hour. Northern Ontario, $19.80 per hour. Ottawa, $21.95 per hour. Hamilton, $20.80 per hour. In comparison, the new $17.20 minimum wage is well below the living wage threshold in most areas, underscoring a growing disparity between the legally mandated minimum wage and what is required to support a decent quality of life. This gap is especially evident in high-cost urban centers like Toronto, where housing and living costs are rapidly rising, putting additional pressure on low-wage workers. #Ontario minimum wage in a national context. Ontario's minimum wage hike will place the province among those with higher minimum wages in Canada, but it will still trail behind British Columbia, where the minimum wage is set to rise to $17.40 per hour in June 2024. Other provinces, such as Alberta and Quebec, have lower minimum wage rates, $15.00 and $15.25 per hour, respectively. #Impact of the wage increase. The new minimum wage will directly affect approximately 935,600 workers in Ontario who currently earn at or below $17.20 per hour. This includes a significant portion of part-time workers, students, and employees in industries like retail, hospitality, and services, where minimum wage jobs are most prevalent. For full-time workers, the wage increase amounts to an additional $1,355 annually, based on a 40-hour workweek. While the increase will provide some relief, many argue that it is insufficient given the rapidly rising costs of living, particularly in large urban areas like Toronto. Looking ahead, the future of minimum wage in Ontario. Ontario's minimum wage is expected to continue its annual review process, with further increases tied to inflation. By October 2025, another adjustment is likely, potentially pushing the minimum wage closer to $18 per hour. Advocates argue that more substantial increases are necessary to bridge the gap between the minimum wage and the living wage and to provide a more meaningful cushion for workers in high-cost areas. For now, the increase to $17.20 per hour offers some relief but highlights the broader issue of wage inequality in Ontario, where many workers still struggle to meet basic living expenses despite earning the minimum wage. Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the bell icon and subscribe the channel. Thank you.